Hello, Michigan. I'm looking at you. Thank you, Play Gun Lake Casino and Sportsbook app. I'll tell you this, with the Harbaugh situation now resolved, because it has been, he's going to do the 3 games, so he won't be able to be on the sideline tomorrow in College Park, but I still like Michigan as a 19-point road favorite visiting Maryland. Michigan State, 4.5-point road underdog at Indiana. The Play Gun Lake app, the only sports betting app that I use myself and recommend. Safe, secure, easy to use, live in-game betting, the parlays, the props, the teasers, all the fun stuff. Download the Play Gun Lake Casino app right now, and you can also play all your favorite casino games right at your fingertips. Don't forget, on Sunday, Detroit, a 9.5-point favorite hosting Chicago. The over-under is 47. New users, there's a casino bonus. You have to wager it. It's great. Terms and conditions apply. See the website at playgunlake.com for details. Got to be 21, and in Michigan, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117. TGIF Friday headlines from the Smerconish.com newsletter. I got to tell you, reading about George Santos, and today for the newsletter, what I decided to do was not give you a story about George Santos, yet more analysis. The link in the newsletter posted on the website right now is the Ethics Committee report. And as I'm reading the report and I'm looking at all of the summations of the report, all I can think of is, Catch Me If You Can. Wasn't it Leonardo DiCaprio? Was he the guy?
Yes, exactly.
He played Frank Abagnale, right?
Listen to you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. I think. And it's Santos.
It's nothing was true. Nothing was true.
Nothing.
It's unbelievable.
Nothing.
Nothing.
And he is a total grifter. From the report, Representative Santos sought to fraudulently exploit every aspect of his House candidacy for his own personal financial profit. He blatantly stole from his campaign. He deceived donors into providing what they thought were contributions to his campaign, but were in fact payments for his personal benefit. He apparently was completely lacking in assets when he ran for Congress and just looked at this as an ATM machine. And you can pull out, your favorite example that's detailed in this 56-page report. He's now facing criminal charges. I mean, the guy's going to go away. He boasted about family wealth. In reality, they say he was frequently broke. Campaign funds were used for Botox, luxury shopping at a whole variety of stores, Hermes, smaller purchases at OnlyFans, which is if not exclusively, isn't it a porn site?
I thought so, yes.
Sephora? Don't we have a Sephora near us?
We do. We have a Sephora near us. So that's like skincare and makeup. I don't know which one he was using, but that's what that is.
Reminds me, my hands are a little dry. I'm going to use some Kiehl's right now.
Here he goes. Oh, boy. All right, you dandy. Here you go.
Ultimate strength hand salve. The only thing is, I paid for mine. Like if I were George Santos,
you can't even buy that at Sephora. Sephora doesn't have Kiehl's, I don't think.
Smells good. You know what it smells like?
Mm-hmm.
It smells like a mentholy clean.
Huh?
Yeah, like it.
Delightful.
What else did he do? What else did Mr. Santos do? Oh, how about this?
I mean, there was Ferragamo, there was everything. It's unbelievable. And then his campaign is calling him what? A fabulous? Is that a thing?
Fabulous. Fabuloso.
No. Oh gosh.
He has a penchant, said his staff, for telling lies that was so concerning that he was encouraged to seek treatment. I mean, there must be something in the DSM for this. There must be something in the DSM for this. Here's what I found most interesting. And this is quite common these days, and I've discussed it in the past. Someone running for office at a high level, Congress, certainly the Senate, one of the things that you do is opposition research on yourself. You want to know what's in the public domain that your opponents are going to be able to draw on. So Santos's campaign, according to the ethics report, prepared a 141-page vulnerability report on him, which they showed to him in December of 2021. It noted, among other things, that there was no evidence to support his claims that he graduated from NYU with an MBA or that he graduated from Baruch College with a Bachelor of Economics and Finance. It also raised questions about his finances. As a result of the report, Representative Santos was encouraged by his campaign staff to drop out of the race. And when he refused, 3 staffers quit his campaign altogether. Like, the people around him are telling him, you have no clothes, Emperor. And they got out.
And yet he was elected. So, I mean, that's the most incredible thing.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see what would have happened if he'd stuck around. But $6,000 worth of purchases at Ferragamo, another $800 withdrawn at a casino ATM, $1,000 withdrawn from an ATM near his apartment. Some of the money was used to pay for the congressman's rent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's crazy. Read the report, though. Read the report. Don't just rely on me summarizing it for you. Instead, take the time and check it out. I think that you'll find it to be a worthwhile exercise. Yesterday, 22,193 voted at Smerconish.com on the Thursday poll question. Do you agree with Nikki Haley? Every person on social media should be verified by their name. 77.73% said that they do. I said yesterday when I tweeted out the preliminary result of the poll question, maybe she shouldn't have backed off, because she backed off from that and said she was only talking about foreign nationals. How would you know if someone was a United States resident, much less citizen? You wouldn't in the internet era. But the point that was underscored yesterday, and I'll just repeat one thought that I had. Those who called the program and those who voted on the poll question yesterday, we're all like, hey, let's elevate the dialogue. Let's try and instill some civility in this process. And consequently, we'd like to see this. But would we really pay attention to such a social media site if it became so vanilla, right? If it became so vanilla that now the civil discourse was what we talk about. But would we actually, if we build it, would they come? And I said, maybe I should do this. By the way, we have a live chat, TC, we have a live chat feature that is on the website for this radio show and when I'm on CNN, but you really don't have to identify yourself.
Right. I gave fake news yesterday because I thought, there are names. You have to give a name, but it was very quickly proven that you don't have to give your own name, because then people started saying, like, hey, fake name. Like, that's what they typed instead of any real name. So shame on me. I did not know that. They can get, Joe can track you by your VPN or whatever it is, but you do not have to use your real name. So,
are you telling me that Rusty Bed Springs, who is currently posting at Smerconish.com, is not a real person? Do you remember?
As well as Hugh, and I don't know what Hugh's last name was.
Yes, you do. Rick Wakeman said that he told us when he visited this studio that he would use Hugh Rection, right? I'm not going to say the middle initial. Right, exactly. I think I had to call a hotel and ask for that.
Right. That's what I had to call.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. Less subject to laughter is today's poll question. Should social media outlets publish or censor Bin Laden's 2002 letter to America? I have the New York Post handy. World gone madman, it says. And the gist of this is that a 2002 letter from Bin Laden, something posted in 2002, a letter to America where he gives his view of the world and explains why he perpetrated the attacks of September 11. 21 years later, and long after Bin Laden was taken out, which was 2011, now goes viral. And why does it go viral? Because somebody with a TikTok platform, picks up the letter and says, oh my God, look at this. It's revelatory and it's an explanation for so much going on in the world today. And then, the youngins who weren't alive on September 11 don't contextualize it, and it becomes a viral video. The question, though, that I'm focused on is what should happen now? What should happen now in terms of, do you publish it? Because The Guardian had it and then The Guardian took it down. Or do you censor it, meaning remove it? And my vote on this is you publish it and you leave it in place, because I don't think you can ever get rid of it. The horse has left the barn. And instead, I had this really interesting experience where I went looking for it to read it last night. And I struggled because there were a variety of versions of it. When I went to The Guardian, which was sort of the epicenter for this whole debate about bin Laden and the letter to Americans, there's a page now that says it's not here, and it explains why. And it directs you to reporting, news reporting about it. So then I found something that looked like it. And I'm reading it, and all of a sudden I get to a reference to President Biden. Like, wait a minute, President Biden? Biden became president in 2020. The letter's from 2002. This is a fake. And my point is that the void, the vacuum will be filled by fakes. People will put fakes up, I'm sure, even if their real letter is there. But do you see my point? My point is that now, if you say, well, we're removing that, somebody else is going to say, oh, no, here it is, but who knows if it's going to be legit. I would much rather leave it in place, talk about it, contextualize it, and use it as a learning method, as a means of educating kids who weren't alive on September 11. So go vote at Smerconish.com today on the poll question, which asks, should social media outlets publish or censor bin Laden's 2002 letter to America? Thank you, TC, because in the wee hours of the morning, the host of this program, representing the polling department, actually had the word censure, and you caught it.
It's an honest mistake. No worries.
That would have been embarrassing. I should have been.
Speaking of embarrassing.
By the way, I should have been censured from this program had that gone out as a mistake. That would have been ugly.
No worries. How about, can we make mention of a certain podcast regarding the poll question of the day?
Please. May I I'll give my perspective on this and then you can give yours. I just want to say that,
okay, fine.
That every day's poll question, I now will spend about 5 minutes recording a supplement, a bonus course for my daily poll, my daily podcast. And sometimes they go a little bit off the rails and you clean up my mistakes. So we had one of those episodes today. Dan was in control of the recording. And go ahead, you can finish the story.
Okay, so Dan was in control of the recording. There was an error made. We went to fix it. And then you taped the rest of the podcast. And when we went to post it, you said, no, post the whole thing.
Yeah.
Blooper, cursing,
everything.
Laughter.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah.
So let's just see what happens with today's podcast for the polling question. Maybe we stumbled on something new. Maybe it can be just raw blooper. Maybe we should put all 3 tries. Like, this could be a new thing.
I might be game. Game.
It was your idea. You're the one that said, no, leave it.
Maybe you'll follow my lead with TC After Dark, although you never make mistakes, but perhaps you will deliver a raw version of that. So anyway, today's podcast on the poll question is the uncut version. A little
unusual to start.
Yeah.
A little unusual to start.
Yeah. All right, more headlines from the Friday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. Yesterday, Sonia Gilbuck was here she's an assistant professor of real estate at the Zicklin School of Business at Baruch College, which I was just talking about in reference to George Santos, because he claimed to go there and he didn't, but she is actually a professor. There was such interest yesterday in the discussion about real estate commissions. And I had conversations with my wife and mother yesterday about this story, and just to get their take on it. By the way, you know what their take on it was? And this is the idea that because of a federal court case in Missouri, there may be a change made in the way business has always been done in the United States with real estate commissions. And the very funny thing about it is that my wife and my mother both said that they were aware of it, but they were so busy that they hadn't had the chance to digest it, which is just typical, because that's amazing. That they're constantly, working and running and so on and so forth. I saw that Robert Refkin, who is the head of, he's the CEO and founder of Compass, for whom, by the way, they both work and are associated, full disclosure and so forth. But apparently he had been at a gathering of his company on the West Coast and said there's never been a better time to be in real estate than right now. It's not an easy market. I know that this market is your greatest opportunity disguised as a challenge. Good habits like 2021 create bad habits. Bad times create good habits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see. We'll continue to talk about it, though, because I appreciated all the interest. Michael Ramirez is a Pulitzer Prize-winning editorial cartoonist. He was a guest of mine on CNN last weekend. He's the guy who drew the cartoon about Hamas's human shields. Well, in Newsweek, or for Newsweek, I should say, he explains from his perspective why that cartoon was canceled and how he has no regrets about it. You'll want to take a look at that. I've been talking about the whole Paul Pelosi attack since the time that it happened. A jury yesterday reached a verdict in the federal trial of the guy who broke into then Speaker Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco house asking, "Where's Nancy?" and then ended up bludgeoning her husband with a hammer. The verdict is that he was found guilty of attempted kidnapping of a federal official and assault on an immediate family member of a federal official with intent to retaliate against the official performance of their duties. No surprise there. I wanted to get to this, TC. The Crown. Interestingly, Netflix just dropped the first 4 episodes of what will be the final season because they've caught all the way up now on The Crown.
Now we just got to watch it in real time.
Okay, I love The Crown, and I have watched the first episode of this final season.
Oh,
yeah.
What do you think?
So I thought that the actress who plays Diana was very well cast, and I think that she had, I'm looking for her name because I should have had it at my fingertips. Shame on me. I want to give her a shout out. Son of a gun. I wanted to say Debicki.
Hang on.
Here it is. Elizabeth
Debicki.
Debicki. I think she's great.
There you go.
I think she's great, and I liked it. Did I love it as much as I've loved other episodes and other seasons? No, but would I give it a thumbs up? I definitely would. But the gist of the story that we have today is how the critics are all over the lot on it.
All over the lot. And speaking of The Guardian, which you just talked about in regards to the bin Laden letter, their reviewer gave it 1 star. But then some people give it 4 stars.
The Times.
She is universally hailed. Yeah, she is universally hailed. But boy, oh boy, are the reviews all over the place. And then I think there's going to be something like when the crash happens that her ghost comes back. That's got to be weird.
Oh, that might lose me.
I can't abide by that.
That's going to lose me if it's weird.
No, I cannot abide by that. Sorry. No.
The way, I'll tell you this, and I'm not giving away too much, the way it begins, the very first scene is that you see someone leave their apartment to walk their dog. And it ends up being just a random Parisian who is going for a walk of his dog late at night at the mouth of the Alma Tunnel. And all of a sudden, as he's walking his dog,
start with her death?
the very first thing you see, guy walking his dog, car comes speeding by, then a bunch of motorcycles, and then you hear a big crash, and he calls the equivalent of 911 in Paris. That's how it begins. Wow. I've now given away 60 seconds of it, okay? There you go.
You can't, it's history. You can't give it away. Everyone knows what happens.
Right, but we still watch.
That's true.
There's a lot of great stuff at Smerconish.com. Please subscribe to the newsletter. Please listen to TC for TC After Dark. TC is appreciative of you. I'm appreciative of you. Dan is appreciative of you. We all thank you. Tomorrow morning, by the way, let me just drop this. If all goes according to plan, tomorrow morning, among my guests on CNN, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, the shaman. You remember the shaman from January 6th? Guess what? He's paid his debt to society, and he's now running for Congress in Arizona. And this will be his first interview. It may be his last interview. I don't know. Should be interesting, though. Have a great weekend. See ya.